Hi, my name is Natalie and I'm a detective. I initially started at the age of 19. I started the process of joining the police force. At the time I was working at a pool and was offered a management role. It was a swim school where we taught from infants up until adults. My role involved teaching across those age groups, but also the management side of things. I think I got a little bit sidetracked. As I said, I'd started the process, got a little bit sidetracked with the management role, found that that wasn't for me, so then started that process because as I said, there was something inside me that was just like, I just really want to be a police officer. There was two elements that drew me to the police force. The first one being helping people. I think that was part of my nature since I was very young, wanting to help people, and also the other part of it was catching baddies. I think I've always had a sense of justice and fairness. I was a uniformed police officer for 4 years before I did the detective training school. I enjoyed being a uniformed police officer. I enjoyed going out and helping people, especially at sometimes at crisis points in their times of need. I also enjoyed the hunt. I like catching crooks, catching people doing the wrong thing. A uniformed police officer doesn't have access to a lot of deeper investigation skills, such as employing the use of surveillance to monitor an offender or a target or a location. When you're working as a uniformed police officer, you're exposed to a lot of different agencies or work units, such as Highway Patrol, a criminal investigation unit. Through seeing what the detectives were doing, I suppose I got an interest in the investigation side of things. I suppose what drew me to the role of the detective was access to more resources, but also being able to put a big puzzle together, starting at like the very first piece and slowly working your way through an investigation and eventually seeing the bigger picture. The thing I love about being a detective is gathering all the evidence available to me through the utilisation of the resources that we have access to, and bringing all the evidence that is available that we've captured before a court to successfully prosecute an offender. Detectives need to be quite thorough in their investigation and meticulous in how they do it, because the burden of proof to be able to prove someone guilty beyond reasonable doubt is quite high, particularly in quite serious offences. So we have to be quite methodical so that we can't be criticised in our investigation. To become a detective, you do have to do further studies. So what I've currently done is I've done detective training school phase 1, and once you get a job as a detective, you then move on to detective training school phase 2. At detective training school, you're expanding on your investigation skills that you've already developed from being a uniformed police officer, but at a higher level. So you're learning a lot more about law, and also the paperwork, I suppose, has to be more meticulous and methodical in how you do it. You also do scenarios at detective training school to prepare us for crime scenes. The skills you would need to be an effective investigator or detective would involve being able to communicate with your colleagues, internal agencies, surveillance or other units like that, but also external agencies such as corrections or judicial side of things. The police force is heavily scrutinised in how we do things, because we do have lots of powers to do things that normal people can't do. So we have to be very methodical in what we do to make sure that we are working within the guidelines or the framework of the law, that we're not stepping outside of that. So I do love working for Victoria Police. I love the dynamic and flexible working environment that we have. You never know what's going to happen for that day, which I like. I like the fact that it's not just a desk job, but there are opportunities to go out into different locations to work. And one of the biggest things is being part of that brotherhood, being part of a big family. Victoria Police is really supportive in developing you and assisting you with getting to where you want to be in your career. So there's always lots of online courses that you have access to. There are also lots of courses out at the academy that you can apply to do. There's also things like driving courses. We also do defensive tactics and firearms training every 6 months, and if there's something that needs to be developed a little bit further, then Victoria Police assists us in that process. We also have our direct supervisors, so our sergeants and senior sergeants It generally assists us quite well in order to see where we are, where we want to be and how we can get to where we want to be. I love the job because it's exciting, it's a dynamic working environment. It's not just a desk job, there is so much variety, there is so much room to move in terms of career-wise, and I just love working with people, whether it's colleagues or members of the public. I love working as part of a team to achieve, I suppose, the best possible outcome. So that might mean getting all the available evidence as part of an investigation, and knowing that we've done that and we've achieved that as part of team putting the best prosecution case forward before a court.